Well, I'm a proud believer in women's equality, so I'm here in London launching a global institute for women's leadership at King's College, and our aim is to gather together the evidence about what helps women come through as leaders and then what helps their leadership to be fairly evaluated.
When you say leaders, what level are we? We're not talking about prime ministerial level here. So
Well, we are talking about prime ministerial level, but a lot more. We're talking about women in politics, women in business, women in the judiciary, and the full range of leadership. Currently, only about a quarter of parliamentarians, news media leaders, judges around the world are women, and only 15% of corporate board members. We can do a lot better than that, but to do a lot better than it, we need to know what works. And the Global Institute for Women's Leadership will be bearing down on that question.
And it's interesting because, you know, I remember watching on my little iPhone, you know, on the way into work, that speech you gave and watching it several times. I felt so ignited by it. I remember just I couldn't get enough of it, if you know what I mean. And I couldn't believe it was you saying it in such a public forum. Interestingly, it didn't go down well in Australia. But around the world, for people like me,
we should remind people what we're actually talking
about.
Yes,
just so you were sort of taking down the opposition leader, weren't you?
And the quote was, well, "I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. I will not. If he wants to know what misogyny looks like in modern Australia, he doesn't need a motion in the House of Representatives. He needs a mirror. That's what he needs."
Yes. I gave that speech in Australian Parliament. It's sort of 20 minutes of my Prime Ministership that's much remarked on now. And it was given in a particular political context in Australia where there was a debate about the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and I'd supported him to be Speaker, and later he was unmasked as having sent some sexist text messages. So we had a red-hot go in the Australian Parliament, and we have a pretty blunt political culture. And when I gave that speech, the Parliamentary Press Gallery reacted and said it was a dreadful error and men wouldn't vote for me anymore and all the rest of it, only to be a little bit embarrassed when it went right around the world. And I think it did come to mean for some women, you know, the I wish I'd said that, you know.
Yes.
Lots of women spend a lot of time kind of biting their lip, just taking it, you know, not actually reacting in the moment when something sexist happens.
My job rides on this, I better not. He's more senior, he's in charge, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, all of that. And, you know, people have got a pretty natural tendency to be polite as well. So I think that speech came to be the, you know, the 3 a.m. moment when you wake up at 3 a.m. and said, oh, I wish I'd said that. I think the speech became that for many women.
Tweeted it, but instead you sort of went. I mean, it
would have been a very long series of tweets.
Are you proud of those 20 minutes of your prime ministerial reign?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for a while, it sort of frustrated me, the stage where I'm so passionate about this issue of women's leadership. That's why I'm here doing the Global Institute with King's College. And I do meet women around the world, and really the only thing they know about Australia is they might know something about kangaroos, something about koalas, and about that speech.
Your connections to Wales, very, very strong. Of course, you were born there?
I was, and I apologise that there's no Welsh lilt left in my voice. I migrated when I was 4 with my family, so I'm sort of Aussie through and through, but still do have family in Wales and a sense of connection there.
Well, look, I mean, you know, I'm from Belfast, I'm from Northern Ireland, and, you know, I spend so much of my time on an airplane going back and forward, but my goodness me, I mean, I think that's difficult. You know, you coming the whole way from the other side of the world. And with the Global Institute, you're going to have to do that more, are you not?
Yes, I'll be in London about a month every 6 months, but I'm going to have to channel my Tourism Commission promotion sort of zeitgeist now. It's not that far. You know, I travel Australia, London a lot. You know, you watch a few movies, you do a bit of work, you read a book, you have a sleep, and then you're there.
OK, and you don't have to stop anymore. It's one flight. You can do that as well.
You can go direct now, London, Perth on Qantas.
And so what about Wales? While you're here, do you sneak in a visit back to Wales?
I won't be sneaking in a visit to Wales this time, but when I'm here later in the year, I will.
They'll be gutted. You were brought up or born in Barry, weren't you? They'll be gutted in Wales that you're not going.
Yeah, I have been to Wales a bit. I was there. My partner Tim and I went there a few years back, and I forced him him on the Julia Gillard This Is Your Life tour. So I stood outside the house where I was born in Barry in Queen Street, and we got a photograph. And then we went to the coal mining village my father was born in, Cumgraach, and went to the house that he was born in, and we were trying to get a sneaky photograph. And because it had had some publicity that I was in Wales, the man who owned the house came out of the door calling over his shoulder to his wife, "I told you she'd come." And we ended up having a wonderful morning tea.
Yeah.
So it's always great fun to be there.
Good memories. Well, I wish we had longer. It is an absolute joy to meet you. From my little iPhone in the middle of the night, watching you, to having you here is a real pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.